Manchester United beat Leeds 4-2, although there was a little scare after the second half kicked off when Leeds got 2 goals in quick succession to equalise things. But in the end, Janusz, we have to say that United's passion shone through in this game, and they showed great character to ensure that they did come away with the win today.
They did, Kay. I mean, where do you start with this one, right? With all the passion that comes with this fixture, right? Leeds United, I remember I played against them once 20 years ago, and I still feel it. And I have a feeling that all these players in this weather, this tremendous atmosphere will. And this was a little bit of a dysfunctional Manchester United, or dysfunctional game in so many ways, because it went from great to not so great. And in the end, they did show that character is important. And it is a huge opportunity for them, because they showed their weaknesses and strengths at the same time. But, when it finishes like that, I think if you manager, if you player, we've been hearing about all these noises, and, the narrative could have been so much different, right? If it stays 2-2 after the way they play in the first half. And, we know the first halves, we know the second halves, the troubles they had with Saints, Burnley, Middlesbrough, right? And all of a sudden to come to that, it's a unique opportunity to get it right this season for Ralf Rangnick and Manchester United. I think you got to be careful how you watch this game, because you got to understand what went right, what went wrong. But my gut feeling as a former player is that this could go a long way for Manchester United in this fight for top 4 and this upcoming fixture in the Champions League away to Atleti.
What about Harry Maguire today then? Because his name's been in the headlines this week with the reports of whether the captaincy should be his or Cristiano Ronaldo's. And then he comes up big in the first half with that goal.
Massive, right? I mean, I think Rangnick did the right thing to make it clear, very clear, regardless of what we think, because let's be honest, we don't know in the end. We're not in that dressing room. If there is a division, if he's the right man or not, it almost doesn't matter at this stage. He made it clear that he's his captain, and he answered. So again, check of character, which I think we knew that he had. I mean, there's questions about his defensive play, but what he did in that first half, in particular on that game, was to silence the critics.
Is Sancho starting to look more and more comfortable to you? Good performance from him today.
Yes, he's been much, much better today. I mean, look at young Elanga, right? I mean, the substitutes made a big difference. We often forget to talk about that. We often ask them to make the impact in the game, because that's what you're supposed to do, but it's never all that easy. I mean, Rafinha did that to a degree for Leeds United right after halftime as well. Not that he knew much about that. He was crossing the ball, but he made a difference. Look at Fred as he comes in, scores a goal. Elanga scores a goal, and Jadon Sancho involved in everything, just about that's been good. So yeah, sometimes it just does take time, right? I mean, it does, especially on a team like Manchester United with so much pressure coming in with the price tag and the season the way it's been. I mean, think about it. It's not so easy to step into Manchester United amongst all those players and right away be the man.
Yeah, it was Rodrigo's cross that became the goal.
Rodrigo, yeah. Oh, I made it, but Rafinha did score.
And then Rafinha after that.
Yeah, he did make it.
Have you ever had a moment like that, Janusz, where have you been in a game where that's happened, where it's supposed to be a cross and it ends up being a goal?
I haven't done it, but I've been part of games like that. Yes, most of the time, the discussion is, was he crossing, was he shooting? Here, I think it's safe to say that he was crossing. His body language, you could see he was looking for a cross, a couple of times checking the runs if they were coming in or not. And De Gea was surprised. I almost don't really want to put it on De Gea, because if it wasn't for De Gea, we wouldn't be talking about Manchester United in fourth spot. Fourth spot, by the way, that because of this massive win in this particular fixture away, I mean, this is the first time they faced Leeds with a full stadium, right? It puts Manchester United in an incredible position, I think, right now, because where are they now? 4 points ahead of United. I think same amount of games. You go week by week. It doesn't matter what happens later, because some big fixtures came. But Watford's next. They should win that at Old Trafford, you'd like to say. And then, then Manchester City, that's the derby coming up, and Spurs after that. But at this particular moment, I think it's United's to lose.
Yeah, this was their chance to stretch that advantage in 4 to 4 points after what happened to West Ham in their draw yesterday. So, Janusz, just a couple of things to end then. You mentioned De Gea. We knew before there was talk about whether De Gea would want to stick around. Do you think with how things are going and how he's so much in form again, maybe United is his future now?
You know what? We've talked about this when he was in good form. We've talked about this when he was in bad form, right? Because that's natural to talk. Maybe his time is done. Maybe he doesn't want to be here. I mean, when I think about it, he never says anything bad. He always says good things. He's a leader. I think he likes playing for Manchester United, and I don't see him leaving anytime soon, to be quite honest. I don't want to sit here and say he's going to be Manchester United for life, but I've had zero indication. And you usually look for that when things aren't going your way. And I remember looking into that because we seem to talk about it ad nauseum forever. And he always looked happy in this dressing room and in Manchester. I think he's here for many years to come.
So lastly then, at the top of this piece, you actually said, we saw the good and we saw the bad. So if you were to pick out a few pointers that were the good and a few pointers that were the bad today for Manchester United, what would you say?
Well, I think first and foremost, the character, because, that character was tested, I mean, because when I've mentioned, the mentality is still not there. That remains to be seen. That's on Ralf Rangnick, right? I mean, no matter what happens, if you think they're good or bad players, I mean, he's got to find a way for this not to happen. I mean, it's not a coincidence that these second halves, I mean, I'm sure he says the right things, but it seems to me that Manchester United, the moment something goes against them, heads go down. That's unusual for Manchester United in its history. I would even say it's unusual. Remember, I mean, if we were critical of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right, we need to be critical of Ralf Rangnick, because I don't remember this happening under Ole. In fact, I think if anything, they were scoring a lot of late goals, kind of getting back in games as well. So I think that mentality that was tested and then answered at such a difficult ground was very, very important to me. So I still think it's a bit chaotic. That's the negative of it, right? I mean, defensively, many issues, 34 goals conceded. I mean, just look at the teams that are even well below that. Manchester United shouldn't be conceding as many goals as they have. But overall, I think, this is, the positive is that they're within a shot of Champions League. And, that doesn't make this season to be great. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. This is not great Manchester United. There are many, many problems. But, I mean, I think not making the top four would be tragic for a big club like United.
Absolutely. But we can put today down to beautiful chaos for Manchester United.
There you have it.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.